Okay, well, it's the middle of March, and spring, I think, is officially here, or maybe it's in a couple days. I can't remember. But anyway, the greenhouse is starting to warm up, like I said before, and it's time to start planting some crops and things in here. But before I do that, I've got to start cleaning things up a little bit. Okay, so I took off my jacket and I'm ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is, you can see these grow beds along here, is I'm going to plant one thing at a time. This is going to take me a few days because I'm not really in any hurry to do this. This isn't a production line or anything like that. So I can take my time. So one of the things I'm going to do is plant lettuce in this one first, while it's still relatively cool in here and the lettuce will grow well. So the one thing I got to do is clean this off. Now, if you can take a look at this, it looks rather nasty, but what I'm going to do is basically take all the stuff out of it and scrub it down a little bit and start over and start planting some lettuce in there. Okay, so getting a little closer here, you can see I've got some stuff that overwintered. I'm just going to take these out, set them over here for now. Just kind of get them out of the way. Okay. Now they're all empty. Now the next thing to do is I'm going to scrub this down. Now some of you might cringe when you see I'm scrubbing it down in the same water that I'm using in the aquaponic system. And that's because there's really nothing harmful here. This is all natural. There's no I don't know what you'd call it, poisons or toxins or anything like that. This is just natural plant decay, which the system has enough biomass in it to take care of that. I just want to get this cleaned off so it looks pretty good. So as a matter of fact, let's see, I'll just scrub this down a little. There we go. Now there are snails and goldfish in each one of these grow beds, these little grow tanks, and that was kind of accidental, but it happened as a part of the bio growth that happened here. It just naturally happened. I don't know where the snails came from, and the goldfish came out of the main pond. I don't know how they did it. They came through the pump and survived as little tiny fish, I guess, or maybe even eggs for all I know. But they survived the pump, and so they're doing fine now. All right, there we go. Now I actually turned this over, and I didn't cheat because I did clean the other side. Now there, you can see there's a snail right there. See? I already cleaned him off. Well, anyway, he's full of gunk. But you can see there's a snail right there. So they'll eat all this junk that I threw in there. So get back in there. Now, okay, make sure that it's flowing properly. Now what I'm going to do, now that I've got this cleaned up, I know it doesn't look very clean, but it's cleaned up. Now I'm going to get some fresh cups and put some new stuff in it and clean these cups out first. And we'll start planting lettuce, and I'll show you here where I'm going to get the lettuce from. So then I went in the house, and under the lights in a little growing area that I have in there, I've been growing some lettuce plants in a cake pan under some lights. Okay, so here we are out in the main greenhouse again, and there's my cake pan full of lettuce. Now, what I'm going to do, this is just dirt. I think it's coconut core or something like that. Could be anything. What I'm going to do is put a lot of water in here to soak this down so that it's kind of a muddy mess. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to be able to get these lettuce plants out of there without tearing the roots up. So I'm going to go over here where there's a little space, and I'll get some water in here. There we go. Okay. So now, I don't know if you can see that, but there's water in here, a lot of it. Now, what I do is, of course, the obvious thing is transplant them into a little cup like that. Now, don't anybody panic that I haven't sterilized these, because I generally don't do that. It doesn't seem to matter very much, because this system is organic, you might say, and all of the good guys and the bad guys are all balanced out. They have been for quite a while. So if there's any, these came out of here. So if there's anything on these, the system will take care of them, and the healthy plants will do just fine. So I'm not too worried about sterilizing anything, because I think that's not necessary. I mean, you only need to sterilize something if you're growing in an environment where basically the environment has to be sterilized, and I'm not doing that. But anyway, okay, so now there are generally 3 ways that I transplant these. You can use rock wool. This is rock wool. You can use rock wool, and I'm going to do that for some of these. Or you can use, and I forget what this is called, but it's a spongy-like material. And or you can use this. This is cut up batting for a swamp cooler, an evaporative cooler, and this works really well. I've done with all 3 of these, and they all work equally well. So now, with the first thing we have to do is let's pull out a couple of good candidates here. So what I'm going to do is stir up this dirt a little bit, and see they've already grown together a little. So I'm going to grab 3 or 4 of them and try to pull them all out kind of together, and then wash the dirt off of them and try to get them apart as gently as I can. Yeah, they're coming apart now. There we go. So I've got about four good ones here, maybe a little one. So what I'm going to do here is, let's take this one here, is just lay that on top of here and make sure the root sticks out a little bit. Put this one on the other side to hold it in. Throw it in there and give it a little place to live right there. Now with this one, do the same thing, except these you have to kind of split them open so that you have a place to put them. Now you do the same thing here, put one in there, and squeeze it together and put that in the cup. Okay, we'll take this last one, put it in this stuff, put this swamp cooler batting, close it up, and there we go. That's basically how it's done. Now I'm going to fill the rest of this up, and I won't bore you with showing you how I do that, but you basically get the idea. And I can't remember what kind of lettuce this is. It's could be romaine. I'm not sure, but we'll let this grow. And because the greenhouse right now is kind of cool, it's the beginning of the season. I've got 2 coolers in the greenhouse, and only one of them operates part of the day right now, and meaning that it's cool in here. So these should do quite well. So I'll put those in and let them recover for a couple of days, and we'll come back and see how it looks. Okay, here we are. I think it's a couple of days later after we transplanted these, and as you can see, they all look pretty good. There's none of them that are dead. There's some that look like they'd like to stand up, but the leaves, see, the leaves are not laying down flat. That's an indication that they're just dying. But these all seem to be doing fine, so we'll let them grow, and we'll have some lettuce. I had to thin these out because they were getting too big. So these are the original ones, and then the ones I thinned out, I put them over here, and you can see they're doing quite well too. Now what I've got here is there's a swamp cooler, I think most people call it, and the air coming out of there is blowing pretty much across there. It's not a hurricane or anything, but a little bit of a breeze is coming across there. See the leaves shaking over there? And then the other ones, like I said, I thinned them out. And I put some more of them over here. Now, these aren't getting the direct breeze, but they're it's cooler over here because it's right next to the cooler. They're all doing quite well. Well, okay, we are 1 month and 1 day, I think, from when I started this video. And you can see these are doing quite well right now, and we're going to leave it at this for now, and maybe I'll get back to it and show you the results. But as you can see, these are growing quite well. And it is April 24th today, I think, 23rd to the 24th. And in this greenhouse, it's not getting very warm. We've had sunny days, and the cooler usually keeps it below 80 at the maximum. But usually at night it gets down to 50 or so degrees in here. Now, I did have to take care of the salinity, or the solids in here. I had to add a little bit of magnesium sulfate, Epsom salts, because they weren't growing very well at first, and that really had them peak up pretty well. And then also I had to take care of the pH. The pH was going up and down a little bit because the system is adjusting as it warms up. So right now the pH is about 7 or maybe just a little bit below, and I'd like to get it a little bit below 7, but I think for now it's doing quite well. And the dissolved solids are about 450, somewhere in that range, just so you know. Now, how much of each element there is, I don't know. I just let it balance itself out, and it balances itself out because of the biological activity of the goldfish that I have, and the plants, and the water circulating around and getting a lot of air and things like that. And also, I guess I do have to maintain the pH every now and then, because the water I fill it up with comes out of the well, and it has a very high content of minerals, and the pH is about 8.4, something like that, right out of the wellhead. So I've got to do some special adjustments for that. But let me show you the rest of these, show you how they're doing. And in about a month, maybe less than that, we'll have some pretty good lettuce. And in about a month, what we'll have is something that looks like this. And like that. Or it'll be actually bigger than these. It'll take it about 3 weeks maybe to get to this point. But here we are. There's the original that I planted. And we had to thin them out because as they're growing, they need room to grow, and if you don't thin them out, there's not enough room for them to grow. So there's one, and there's a second raft here of them right here, and these are all growing quite well. And there's a third raft of them right here, like I showed you before, and these are growing quite well. And I've lost track of that one that I didn't think was going to make it. But none of them died, so they all made it. They're all doing quite well. So that's how I grow lettuce in my greenhouse. And as long as I can keep it cool in here, I can grow lettuce quite well. As the summer time comes, it's going to be a lot more difficult to keep temperatures below 70, 80 degrees here during the daytime. I need a little more cooling to be able to do that, and I just don't quite have enough. But when that happens, we switch over to other crops, and they do quite well.